Shana Tova. I am so grateful to be here with all of you tonight. I come from a long line of bakers. In fact, my last name, Bocknek, is a derivation of the Polish word bochenek, which translates to a loaf of bread. I know it's not kind to start a Yom Kippur speech talking about food, but stay with me. I first found my love for baking as a kid watching my grandfather and my mom making our family's famous recipes for cookies and mandel bread. And baking has always been a hobby of mine ever since. And so, like many others, I spent an embarrassing amount of time baking chalot in the early days of COVID. Every week, my kids and I would bake loaves together. We would often find ourselves with way too many to eat on our own and would make the rounds through Metro Detroit delivering extras to friends and family. Those deliveries brought so much joy to us during difficult times. But what we found is that the simple act of mixing flour, water, eggs, sugar, salt, and yeast created something far beyond a loaf of bread. But as life returned to normal, the opportunities and times to bake like this took a back seat to baseball games and dance classes and everyday life. However, in the past year, my family has had the pleasure of getting involved in Temple Israel's Kemach Baking Club. The name of the program is taken from Pirkei Avot, where we learn, Im ein Kemach ein Torah. Where there is no wheat, there is no Torah. Where there is no Torah, there is no wheat. What our rabbis meant to teach us was that if we can't sustain our bodies, we can't sustain our souls. And as Jews, we need both to be whole. Every month, the Kemach Baking Club proudly gathers to bake fresh goods to provide to the community food pantry that Temple Israel hosts twice per month. For me, this has been a way to recapture some of the happiness we found during the pandemic. But it goes beyond the satisfaction of mixing the ingredients and braiding the dough. I can't help that the Jewish dad in me equates nourishment with love. I find great joy in the intergenerational connections that have been made, the friendships that have been created, and the strengthening of our communal bonds. Although this is literally baking bread to feed the hungry, there are so many other ways to bake bread at Temple Israel. I invite you to volunteer at our food pantry, to serve as a minyan leader, or to read a book in our ECC. Come learn with a member of our clergy, tend to our greenhouse, or just come play games with friends at our monthly game day. This is how we combine the ingredients to bake our communal bread. But the ingredients are not gathered without effort. Just as the baker needs flour to bake, the miller needs wheat to mill, and the farmer needs seeds to plant, Temple Israel needs help planting the seeds. This is why I am so excited to announce our Lahadlik Ner campaign, a $25 million project to sustain Temple Israel for generations to come. I'm even more excited to announce that we have already seeded our efforts with $16 million of commitments. By participating, you'll be investing in the strength and resilience of our institution. We are building a congregation of the future with upgrades to security, facilities, technology, education. All of this will enable us to serve our congregants and future congregants wherever they may live. Please join me in a conversation with staff and clergy about how you can get involved. Temple Israel is a place where so many of us find sustenance. It literally feeds our souls. And I'm so proud to be the president of a congregation that is forward-thinking and planting seeds for tomorrow. As you may have heard, we welcomed 16 of our youngest congregants into our new infant and toddler care rooms this year. I'm looking forward to the day, 40 years from now, when one of them gives the Yom Kippur presidential address. Until then, it is our responsibility to sustain the organization, just as those who came before us did for their children and grandchildren. Gamar Chatima Tova, may you all be blessed with a year filled with sweet challah.